to the Wise Woman Show. I am your host, Megan Wiseman, or better yet, Wise Woman. Here we empower Christian women entrepreneurs to express their divine wisdom and follow their intuition. This is a space where diverse voices and visions of wise women are showcased to support and celebrate the power of feminine leadership in business. Hello, welcome. We are so excited to be here today, and I am excited to introduce you to my friend Mandy Aidukaitis. She is a trauma integration coach, a spiritual medium. She is an SRA practitioner and a grief coach. So she just does all the things, all the healing things. She is a mom of 5 children, and she says 6 children if you include her husband, which is so funny and true. And she lives in Arizona. So she also has this deep spiritual wisdom that whenever she speaks, I just am so drawn in and I want to know what she has to say. So I'm really excited to let her share with you. But she also has this joyful, playful spirit that just is just so wonderful to be around. So I am really excited to introduce you to her. She is going to share a little bit about my favorite topic, and it's about empowering women to know who they are. And women knowing who they are means that they must know who they came from. And so she has some insights about our Heavenly Mother. And so I'm looking forward for her to share these experiences with you and help you understand you and where you came from. So Mandy, this is where I turn over
Hello.
to you. Do you have anything else you would like to add to your information to help people know who you are?
Just that I love life. I love every experience that I go into, every trial that I have, I rejoice over because that's how we learn, that's how we grow. And I love it all. I love becoming more than I am now. I love the wisdom that the Lord has given me and gives me as I progress through my trials in life. It's all good.
I love your positive attitude. And if you know more about Mandy, she's been through a lot. So it's good to hear that she still has that positive outlook. And I think it is because she is so focused on the Lord. I know she's always talking about what the Lord tells her, and it makes me so happy to hear her talk like that. So I know that we wanted to just talk a little bit about your experiences with Heavenly Mother when you first discovered her or remembered her on Earth. So tell us a little more about that story.
Yeah. So I was about 17 years old and I had left my hometown in England because I'm from England and I'd come over to the States. And I remember sitting on the lawn of the temple, the LDS temple. And I was just thinking, I wonder who I'm going to marry. If I'm going to marry someone here or if I'm going to go home and marry somebody back home in England. And just then, I had this woman sit next to me in spirit, not physically. And she introduced herself as Heavenly Mother. I'd never heard of a Heavenly Mother at the time. And the thought came, Heavenly Mother, even growing up as Christian in the LDS faith, I don't think that I can ever remember a time that my mum had talked about Heavenly Mother, just Heavenly Father, God the Father, and Jesus Christ. And so she put her arm around me and she said, Mandy, we are preparing someone for you to marry. What? This is nutty. First of all, it's nutty that I have a mother that's sitting next to me that I've never heard of before. And secondly, she's telling me that she is preparing someone specifically for me to marry. And so she said, get out your journal. And I had my journal with me. And so she had me write down some important things that I would need to know to recognize my husband. And so I think it was probably a few weeks later. Okay, let me back up here. I was I had come to the States, and within 6 weeks of being here, at the age of 17, I was engaged to this guy. Um, I think it was more the idea of being in love than actually being in love. So when I received this message, I was confused because I thought, I already have this guy that I'm going to marry. And mother had said, no, you'll recognize him. So I had gone to church a couple of weeks later, and we were in the foyer and it was crowded. And mother had said to me, see that guy over there? And I clarified, the one with the blonde hair? She said, yes, you're going to marry him. So I turned to my friend and I said, that guy over there, I guess I'm going to marry him. And she said, what are you talking about? You don't even know who that is. I said, yeah, but it is what it is, I guess. And so I had to break it off with my boyfriend and met my husband at that moment. And he left on a mission, came home, and we got married. And we've been married for 37 years. So that was my first experience with knowing about Heavenly Mother and really connecting with her. So I think that it also helped that I had a really good relationship with my earthly mother. So it was kind of became second nature to me at that moment that there would be a Heavenly Mother.
Mm. I love that and how personal and direct her insights were to you. That's
Yes,
beautiful.
shocking because, as I said, I didn't know there was a mother, but yeah, that
Yeah,
was my first experience.
I love that. And it was so personal and needed. And like, just like what a earthly mother would be like, of course, she'd want you to find the right person. That was a really important step in your life to find the person they were preparing for you. So I love that message. I've never heard you tell that. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
So, why do you feel like it's so important, especially as women, to have a connection and a knowledge of our Heavenly Mother?
Well, um, I think about for me, it's like, how is my life different now that I know that I don't just come from God the Father? How has that impacted my life? And it's like, well, here we are on earth. We have parents, earthly parents. Why wouldn't we have heavenly parents? And I've gone to my Heavenly Father for so many things over the years. But there's times where I think this is something that I personally feel only a mother would understand. I'm sure Father knows and understands everything that we're going through, but there's something very special about connecting to Mother, to a Heavenly Mother, who literally feels and understands the things that we go through as women. And I really feel the benefit in knowing her, in reaching out and really making that effort to connect with her. Because if you've ever had a rocky relationship with your earthly mother, or maybe you've had no relationship with her, how beautiful is it that we have a Heavenly Mother to go to who loves and understands and loves unconditionally standing in her complete feminine power. Just as we as women here need to be standing in our femininity, in our feminine power.
Yes, because that's what we're becoming. Of course, we need to know her so we can know ourselves. And I
Yeah,
love that. Love that. Understanding that we need that in our lives, especially because we come here to Earth and it's hard to understand motherhood when it's coming from like an imperfect source. Like you said,
Yeah.
some of our mothers, relationship with our mothers, even if they're good, have been rough and heartbreaking and hurtful. So
Yeah.
it's good to know that there is like this beautiful divine mother that knows and can heal and comfort us where maybe there's that lack of love, motherly love in our own lives. So I love that
Yeah.
remembrance.
And I think also it's important for us to know her character. For the longest time, I always thought of mother as being this just gentle, submissive mother, woman, right? But she's so much more than that. She can be, oh, I won't say stern, but um, she has no problem standing up and telling you, you don't do this. Please, I'm telling you that this is the better way. She's very upfront, and I appreciate that because, I think we just have this idea of no, she is always just very soft, and she is very soft, but she has no problem speaking up when she needs to. Like she will go to battle for you. She will fight for you. So I think that's really important to know also.
Well, so true, because so much of her we haven't known because it's been like hidden or secret or whatever. So it is good to create your own connection with her and find out who she really is. And sometimes that becomes a very personal um, discovery process. I don't know if
Absolutely.
I don't know why, but that's just how it's been for me and many of the women I've talked to who have a relationship with her. Is it's this personal discovery and connection with her that's just
Yeah.
given to you a little bit at a time. Sounds like yours was pretty open. Mine it's not been that way, but I've learned and connected with her more. So I love that
Yeah.
you share the importance of her characteristics and that she's not just this soft quiet thing because I'm a little bit more like that. I'm a little wild. I'm a little warrior. I have a little
Yes, you
bit of
are.
that in there. So it's good to hear that she has that power and strength just as much as that softness and wisdom that you think about. So thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
How do
Yeah.
you know about her stern strength and wisdom? Do you have an experience that goes along with that?
Yes, I do actually. So I had the gift of sight. It was something that I didn't talk about very often um, because, first of all, I thought everyone had it, everyone experienced the same things that I did. And then when I figured out that that wasn't the case, then um, I kind of just thought, oh, goodness, I'd rather just not speak about it. But now I'm learning to open up more about it. Um, so, this experience I had, I was taken up to this planet. I'm not sure where it was, but I was standing and the sky was dark and it had stars. I was surrounded by stars. And I saw Mother, and she was standing on this planet, and she was wearing a long white dress, and she had a forest green cloak that came to the ground. And it was beautiful. And behind her, there were two angels. Behind them, four, eight, and it just kept going back. So it kind of looked like a big flashlight. And Mother was looking down on the earth, and she looked really stern. And it kind of took me aback. And I said, why do you look so stern? Like I don't know what to think about this. And she pointed to the earth and she said, my daughters need my help. It's time. It is time for them to awake and arise, to remember who they are. and she had this sword in her hand, and it looked like a lightsaber, but it was a sword. And she held it up, and as she held it up, the angels behind her held up theirs, and there was a cheer or some kind of roar or cheer from behind them. And she asked me to step aside, and she took off quickly down to the earth. And so I knew that she was on a mission to wake up the women. And I can't stress this enough for the women out there. Whether you're mothers or not, it is time to awake and arise. And so I was telling my friend about it the following day, and I said it was crazy. Like she was on a mission. Like it's time for the earth to recognize the women and their strengths, because we as women, it's been a man's world. I hate to say that, but it's been a man's world since the beginning of time. And so she said, "Oh my gosh, Mandy, let me show you a picture of what was in the news last night." And I'll post, or Megan, if you wanted to post the picture in the link later, but it shows this white light with, or this green and white light that goes across the sky. Like it was in the sky for about an hour, and it was just heading across the sky. And she said, "That's mother." I said, "Yeah, that's mother. She's coming down, and she's all of these women are having these incredible awakening experiences to who Heavenly Mother is. And it's incredible. And they may not know inside why they're waking up to this. They might just feel this power from within saying, hey, it's time. It's time for us to be seen. It's time for us to be noticed. And that's that's mother having people awake and arise.
Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. I love that imagery that you can share with us because some of us takes a lot of work to see things. So when you describe your vision and then what you've seen, and it just resonates and makes us like jump with joy inside. Because so many of us have kind of been asking for that and wondering where she is and why isn't she with us? And to have like that confirmation that like, oh, she's here and she's waking us up and it's time is such like just time for praise and joy.
Yay!
Yay!
I know, it's so exciting. It's
I
so
love
exciting.
I love
And
that
she
so much.
feels joy in that also,
Yeah.
as well as, and I feel to add this, as well as other women from generations back. It's like us recognizing the mother in us, the female power in us, is helping to heal so many of our generations past that have felt this like oppression or not being seen, or being seen but not heard.
Mhm.
So these other women, either in our generational lines or women from in history, it's like it's time for so many generations to be healed, and they are rooting for us. And many women are having these incredible experiences with these past women that are saying, Yay! And I do want to clarify, it's not taking over a man's role.
Good point.
It is incredibly important to understand that our role, not only here on the earth, but on the other side of the veil, is male, female. The male is the home, and the female is the decorator of the home. So without the female, you just have a shell of a home. but without, but the other way around, it's like you can't decorate a home if you don't have a home. So the male, female, there is specific roles, but this is not about taking over the world or taking over masculine power. It's about sharing in that power. Male, female is so important. And what we will be doing further down the line in the very near future is going to be male, female. For man is not without the woman, neither the woman without the man.
Yes, thank you for clarifying. I think that that becomes a problem when we feel like either the men can do it all their own or the women can do it all of their own. It's that union, the sacred union that
Yeah.
necessary for the fullness of the power to come. So thank you for
Yes.
that reminder. So
Yeah.
how do you suggest women who are curious or interested or have felt like the desire to connect? What's the best ways? Or do you have any examples of how that you've seen that happen?
So um, I have had clients that they're aware of mother, but they didn't know what to do to call in or how to address that without feeling like, they don't want to step on God's feet, so to speak. So I had a client recently who's given me permission to share this, but she was having some extreme difficulty connecting with Heavenly Mother. She was having issues with her mother. So I had her close her eyes and we go into the heavenly realms, as crazy as that might sound, but we go into the heavenly realms, and Mother loves being in the garden room. And it's like, I see it as having grass and flowers everywhere, even on the walls. There's no ceiling, it's just open to the skies. But there's this beautiful tree of life in her room. And there is a swing that hangs from this tree. And I know Mother loves spending one on one time with us. So, depending on who it is, but with this specific client, I was able to have her sit on the swing, and Mother pushed her, and they were able to. She went back to being a child where she experienced some trauma in her life, about 8 years old. And Heavenly Mother pushed her on this swing. And as she pushed her on the swing, Mother was able to ask her questions and bring back memories for her of how treasured and how important she was and is as a child of heavenly parents. And after she was on the swing, then Mother had her sit on her lap where she just held her. Her head was against Mother's chest, and she was able to just connect with Mother and to be able to receive that healing that she so desperately needed. Because sometimes we just need a mother's love. Sometimes we just need it. So I would either recommend just being in a sacred place, and I tell everyone, I don't care if that sacred place is your closet, or for me, this is my sacred space. I have a tree of life behind me because it is very significant. Mother is tied into this tree, the tree of life. But just finding your sacred space and being able to close your eyes. Some people don't like music on. I love listening to a high frequency music, or Liquid Mind is one of my favorites. And I just close my eyes and I go to the garden room. And sometimes I just wait for mother. I'll sit on the swing and I'll just push and I'll just wait. And those rhythms of going back and forth on that swing is just very soothing until mother comes in and we can sit under the tree of life and be able to connect with her. So that's what I would suggest trying for anyone that hasn't been able to connect with her or didn't really know much about her. I would suggest starting there.
Oh, what a beautiful imagery and space that you just gifted us with. I love that. Like every time you speak and you share about your visions, I can just see it and I just can tell that it's so true. So thank you for sharing that very
Of
important
course.
spiritual wisdom with us and a way for us to connect to her. I feel like that is essential as she is wanting to connect with us as well. So thank you for creating that space for us and remembering the
Absolutely.
tree of life, of course, that's glowing behind you and how she is so intertwined with that.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if there is any like last words or what would you want the women who are going to be drawn to this message to know?
So as I am hearing, I'm listening at the same time as we are talking. I'm drawn to, like, I'm being shown how this generation, not mine, but probably your generation, those from, in their 20s and 30s. And it's like I see these women standing up in the last 20 or so years, um, wanting to be seen. I might be frozen there, wanting to be seen and heard. And I can just hear mother saying, please, please make sure that you wake up as many people as you can. There is a reason why this is happening now in the last 20 years. There's a reason why people, specifically women, are feeling this urge to be seen. And that is important because of where we are in the world. I believe that Jesus Christ is returning to this earth a lot sooner than many people think. And that is why there's an urgency for women to awake and arise because we have a specific job to do before the Savior returns.
I love that. Well, even if you are frozen, your message is still coming, your message is still coming through. It's amazing. So I love that this is a really important time and there's a reason we're all being drawn to awaken and we have specific roles to do that. And then also inviting our sisters and even our brothers to waken up to the power of mother. So what
Yes,
a beautiful remembrance and understanding that this is the time for this knowledge to come back to the earth and to heal so many wounds. Okay.
absolutely.
So I know that, yeah, I've done work with you and I've loved the wisdom you bring. And I know you do sessions with people so they can have these beautiful, deep spiritual experiences from out of
Mm-hmm.
this world, literally out of the world. So the best way for people to connect with you would be
Yep, you can find me on Facebook under Mandy Aidukaitis. Um, the link will be below, and also um, a pathway to peace at gmail.com. You can get a hold of me there. I did have a website which was hacked, so I'm working on getting a different website. So that's how you can get a hold of me.
perfect. And if the website gets fixed, then I'll have it back down here eventually. We can add
Perfect.
it later even.
Yes,
So
yes, that would be
thank you.
perfect.
And yes, reach out to her if this message draws you in and you want to have that deeper connection, but you just sometimes you need someone else to guide you through the things that are keeping you from having these experiences. Sometimes people have already done a lot of work, and so it feels really easy, like Mandy, to get there. And so if you need that guidance, that space, that sacred space created for you, Mandy is the most beautiful guide for this. And I love everything I've ever done with her or everything she's ever shared. So I know you'll have a beautiful sacred experience. She's also coming to the Tree of Life event this year. And so she will be guiding us to understand our third eye as well. And so hopefully open us to
Hmm.
have beautiful visions and insights just like she does and activate us in our own gifts. So
Absolutely,
I'm excited
absolutely.
for you to be there this year and present to us. So reach out to
Awesome. I'm
Mandy if
excited.
you need help. And thank you so much for coming and sharing your wisdom with us.
Of course, of course. It's been my pleasure. I could talk about this subject all day.
It's, I know.
So,
And I
yeah,
could
it's,
listen to you because your voice is so beautiful.
well, thank you. I don't like hearing myself talk, but thank you.
Oh, we all love it. So you keep talking. And I'm sure we'll be on. You can come on again and we can talk all the other things too. But I
Yes,
really felt like this was perfect message for us at this time. And
uh,
so thank you for sharing.
you are so welcome.
Thanks for joining the Wise Woman Show. Remember, Divine Daughters, keep expressing your faith and femininity as you bring your powerful wisdom to this world. Like, share, comment, or subscribe to the show to stay connected.